right. Is it working now?
Yes. Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to me and Armin's talk on Wiki Project's Paleontology. We will be giving you guys a beginner's guide to both how we do what we do and how you might contribute to it if you think it's a fun concept. Armin, are you here?
I am here, yeah.
Yes, okay, cool. So, quick introduction. My name's Tim. I focus on the Morse information, and I specialize in writing and reviewing articles. I started Wikipedia work in November of 2019, and my current running project is reviewing and updating 3 featured articles about the Morse information, which are Diplodocus, Stegosaurus, and Allosaurus, alongside a running project of a fauna list of the entire formation.
I'm Armin. I joined Wikipedia in 2021, so not as long ago as Tim. I started out initially with extinct crocodilians, which is still my focus, but I've long since done a bunch of random other stuff that has nothing to do with that. And currently I'm working on the one hand, the Herel-Katrani Formation in Egypt and Indo-Sinosuchus. And yeah, we are starting out with how to make an account. Basically, we are assuming that you might want to join this because many people know how Wikipedia is kind of flawed at times, but since it's an open encyclopedia, you can just jump in, help out yourself, improve the quality, which in turn helps people get information easier for Paleoart and stuff. And obviously the first step is kind of a no-brainer, but it's kind of important. Make an account. The reason why is pretty simple. Tim, would you?
Yes.
The way Wikipedia works is, since you have to be held accountable if you just write nonsense, they save the IP address, which is publicly available if you don't have an account. So if you want to edit, be safe and log yourself in. Just don't accidentally dox yourself. Now, once that is done, you will get a bunch of new little buttons to work with. Don't be intimidated, all of those are really useful. I'm going to start like kind of the middle. The sandbox is your best friend, basically. You can do whatever you want in that. You can write whole pages, copy-paste stuff in there to work on without having any time pressure or anything. Tim, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Presentation is kind of collapsed. Preferences is simple enough. It's your options. You can switch around with layouts. Same basically applies to the beta. It's just a different beta version of Wikipedia you can play around with. I've personally used neither, but you can always look into that. The watch list is then where all the pages go that you are interested in. You can, if you make a page, edit the page, you have the option to put it onto your watch list. Which means every time someone else edits that page, you get a little notification. Not a notification, but like it's listed in your watch list. Because you see, Johnny69 whatever added little grammar fixes to my page. That's great. Or idiot number 5 wrote something that's complete nonsense. I'm gonna revert that. It helps you keep track of your projects, basically. Contributions is then just what you have made. It shows all your edits, but every edit, like if you changed a single letter in any page, it's gonna show up in your contributions. So it's not really great for keeping track. You also got like this bell icon, this little tab thing. That's where you get actual notifications. If you get tagged, if a page has passed review, it's really not that important. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, the main two things here again are your user page and your talk page, which are inherently linked. The user page is basically where you have free reign to introduce yourself. Like, oh, hey, I am so-and-so, and I want to edit these things. You can make lists of what you have done before, give people an idea of what you worked on, and you can also customize it in order to show skills. There's an entire system on Wikipedia where you can basically get little stamps, little areas where like, oh, this user speaks Spanish. This user has this and this degree. And also a bunch of really useless ones, like this user likes bunnies. Which makes some user pages look more like mid-2010s DeviantArt profiles. Which, yeah, people can overdo it with that, in my opinion. Talk pages are simple enough, really. It's like user pages that people go there if they want to talk to you. This can be like, oh, hey, dude, thank you for editing this and this. Or it can be, hey, if you vandalize this page one more time, I'm gonna report you to administration. It can go either way. So that's the basic gist of your account. So moving on to your first article. Oh, hey, the presentation is back for me. I can watch it on Discord now. Excellent. Of course, going to a Wikipedia and want to edit might be a daunting task, and with so much to do, so many pages don't exist yet, it just stops. Where do you even start? Now, it really helps if you pick something that you're already sort of familiar with. I've always loved crocodiles, so when I got to Wikipedia, I started editing pages for extinct crocodilomorphs. One of my first pages, as you can see, was Toyota of Maya. In big parts, taking aspects from Japanese Wikipedia and trying to translate it. And as it was one of my first projects, it's pretty damn short. You want to pick something that you can easily do, and with time you will get better, Tim. Like, this is from this March, so by comparison, I have written a lot more. But yeah, pick something you are familiar with, first of all. Pick something that's manageable. Something that ideally is very recent and has fewer sources. Like newly described text, let's say the last 2 years have like one paper, maybe 2 papers, which tend to be very quick to find and a lot easier to work with. Instead of going straight for like a taxon named in the 1800s with 500 publications and a really convoluted history. Keep that for later, because holy shit, it's not gonna go well. Also, take it slow. You don't have to make a masterclass article at first. Any contribution helps, basic descriptions, basic histories. If you don't know how the Glub Shitterbone articulates with the so-and-so bone, don't worry. You don't have to go into every single detail. At this point, I'm going to give over to Tim.
Yes, and I will take you guys through the next 4 slides. About the editing. We like our editing and our text to be clear and concise. Here's an example of one of my own updates to an article from Maimora Pelta. And generally we want to give the information to people as concisely as possible, because otherwise we're going to end up with articles that are absolutely gigantic and are hell to get through. Your sourcing is going to have to be everywhere all of the time. If you state something, slap a source at the end of the sentence, and that is basically your go-to for the entire process of writing a wiki article. You can see here Gandalf as giving a pretty good representation of what looking for sources for wiki articles can be like, especially when you're dealing with species that were described very, very long ago, like I said by Morrison work. We also want to have our text easily understandable for a layman reader, so you want to explain difficult terms. I can't go around saying that my bone is anteroposteriorly compressed. I have to say that it's compressed from top to bottom or side to side, something like that. And Wikipedia has 2 forms of editing. The visual editor, which I've shown up top, and the source editor, which I've shown on the bottom. Visual editor is generally very nice for writing text. It makes it easier to bold things, to add citations, and to add links. And the source editor is very nice for my next category, which is templates. We have 2 templates that are very instrumental to our Wiki project. We have the taxo box, which if you see the Paleo Wiki article, you've probably already seen before, which includes basic information about the animal, like its scientific classification, its type species, other species, and synonyms, when it existed, and most often an image of a mounted skeleton. We also work with categories, which are listed at the bottom of a page and are used to classify articles into larger groups. For instance, here you can see the third category is dinosaurs of the Morse information for the Stegosaurus page. And in that category, you would also find articles like Allosaurus or Brachiosaurus. As for resources, there is one very important resource on Wikipedia, which is the Wikipedia library. This is my own home screen. You get access to this at a certain amount of time spent with an account, a certain amount of edits made, and then you get free access to a whole bunch of publications, which is very useful. So, for the community, how do you help Wikipedia? Well, it's simple. You write articles, but if you don't write articles, there's a lot of other stuff you could do. For instance, peer review. I've taken here a peer review that was recently done for Wiki Project Paleontology, where anyone can request someone else to look over their article and give some pointers. A very low stakes environment. We also have the Paleo and Dinosaur reviews, where images can be posted and comments on these can be made so that they can be improved. Spell checks, which are generally even less formal than the peer reviews. For instance, the article that we just showed that Armin made in March, I spell checked for him, which is literally just going over and reading the article and looking where any spelling mistakes are made or any grammar mistakes, and sending those through. And there are only two review systems that are really high-end on Wikipedia, which is the GA system and the FA system. These can take a long time, and they are very involved, and they help you promote articles to get a badge saying that they are actually really good. As you can see, featured articles, the best articles Wikipedia has to offer, and only 0.09% of every article, of all the articles on Wikipedia, is featured. So, very little. Then, for us at Wiki Project Paleontology, what we do is, of course, we write about extinct animals, but also about fossil formations and time periods. Paleontologists and paleoartists also fall under jurisdiction. This is our project page at www.paleo on Wikipedia. And our workforce is made up of roughly 30 active editors, which is not a lot to cover all of paleontology, but we try to get by with what we have. Our organization mostly goes through the talk page, which is quite small, I just realized, which is kind of like a forum where things can be discussed, but also since recently through our Discord, which I made and currently has roughly 50 members. We have a lot of channels where things can be discussed at a much more leisurely format than the forum style that we have on Wikipedia. Now I will give the stick back to Armin.
Yeah, sorry about any noises. I think my mic decided to take a bad time to die. So, Paleoart. Another big draw for people arguably is, oh, Wikipedia doesn't always have the best artwork, so how about I put my stuff up there? So, first things first, know your rights. Did you know that you have rights? Wikipedia says you don't. Here's the thing. Wikipedia as an encyclopedia has a specific rule about images, which is they have to be Creative Commons and they can't be non-commercial. This means basically, if you put something on Wikipedia, you technically have to allow other people to take it, use it, and at times, yes, be capable of selling it, which is annoying. And I understand a lot of people don't want that with their art. Obviously, it's just an awkward compromise. Sadly, I myself don't get why non-commercial images can't be a thing there, but it is how it is. So that's a big warning. If you don't want it, that's fair. Completely understandable. Now, the next thing is you want things to be very easily visible. You want something that's simply understood and something that's more plain rather than flashy. is concerns like speculative structures. Again, it's an encyclopedia, so drawing weird things is great, but not really fitting the idea, which is why you have to go through a review process where they go through, check things, and discuss it. It's very easy to go with a GSP kind of style, like showing them from the side, white background, clearly visible. Like weird angles, again, are nice in artwork, but don't really work well in this kind of context. For example, we have a picture here by Mark Whitten. Gorgeous piece, but the lighting, the colors, the angle don't really do the best job at showing general anatomy. Obviously, we know it's Stegosaurus, we know it in and out, but it's about the principle. Compare that to like Fred Wierum's Stegosaurus, which is actually on Wikipedia, which shows it in side view, and we can see the entire anatomy basically. Now, again, that's why we have the review process. Because, again, it determines if something might be too speculative, too flashy. It figures out anatomical problems, maybe, or if there's copyright problems. It's annoying, I know, it's a lot of bureaucracy, but it's kind of a requirement. It's compromised with Wikipedia because it's an encyclopedia, and you have a bunch of hobby artists basically dropping their own artwork there. So there has to be some kind of level of quality control to prevent things from going into original research, for example. And at times, this actually brings up important issues, like how recently a skeletal was put up with upside-down hands and 90% plagiarized from other sources, which some people outside of Wikipedia were very adamant was correct and good, and shouldn't have had to go through review until, actually people looked at it and figured out a billion problems with it. So yeah, review is actually pretty important. But speaking of bureaucracy, boy, there's a lot that can be annoying about Wikipedia. Now, I love working on it, but there's no denying that sometimes the people can drive you wild. For example, reviewers are not always correct. Reviewers, in terms of like good articles, featured articles, are doing their best to help you. But sometimes you deal with either people who have not checked the same sources or aren't familiar with paleo at all. In the case of Stegosaurus, for example, someone said, oh, you should remove all those sources because they're from the 18th century, 19th century. Those sources were in the history. What other sources are you supposed to take? Those are reliable because they detail how it was found. Similarly, I was working with Stupendemis, and one criticism was I should add an older phylogeny, which is sensible, but didn't make much sense because at that time, Stupendemis was a chimera. So that phylogeny is inherently worthless as it combines two taxa. Other editors are another big thing. Now, again, most of them just try to help, do good things. Some do so in very annoying ways. When you take 50 edits to change a single sentence, then you're just kind of being unhelpful and make it hard to follow your process, which might lead to things being overlooked. And some are just disruptive, which we call vandals. And holy shit, vandals think they're way funnier than they actually are. Let's just say every couple of weeks you'll get some guy who deletes entire paragraphs of your Wikipedia page and replaces them with, haha, my mom. Like a couple of days ago, someone was on Titanoboa, deleted all the length estimates and wrote the big bomboclat. Yeah, vandals are funny and a pain. We have to kind of deal with them, but that's why an administration can block entire IP ranges if that's what needs to be done. But don't be discouraged. People will gladly help you deal with this kind of stuff, and it's not as common as you might think. Thankfully.
Speaking of bureaucracy, visible in the background is the largest merger discussion I think we've had to date in the Wiki Project, which spanned roughly 18 pages of discussion. Well, that was our presentation. Oh, what's this? Oh shit!
What?
It's Finn. He has come to bless us. Yes. Anyway, that was our talk. If you have any questions, send them into the Q&A channel. Full disclaimer: the Finn idea was Joshua's. We'd like to thank you for listening.
Loud clapping noises! Loud clapping noises!
Woo!
Thank you very much for this presentation. We have, I think, time for 1 or 2 quick questions. And let's head over
Any
there.
takers?
Bloop, 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 bloop.
I did already answer some questions during the presentation when I wasn't speaking.
Ah, nice, nice, nice. Anything left?
I can see that someone is typing. We await with great anticipation.
Akiro's writing.
Oh, Kiro's writing. Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh no, we've opened the floodgates.
It begins.
Oh no! Oh god!
Are you the prettiest editor, Petite? I do not know.
We have no photos of you.
Note of WTF27PL. Is it possible to use photos of fossils from papers that describe the fossil? Again, this depends. Wikipedia requires a Creative Commons license. Now, usually you can check if a paper has copyright on it, if it's Creative Commons. It usually says it's somewhere. So if it's Creative Commons, then yes, you can upload it to Wikimedia, which is kind of a tedious process, but it's doable. If it's not Creative Commons, then I'm sorry, it's off limits, which is why some pages have no fossil images at all, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah,
To
it's a
take,
shame, and I wish Wikipedia would take this into account.
To take Sly's question real quick, worst drama. There's way too much. Recently, 2 paleontologists, one paleontologist and 1 paleoartist, who will both remain unnamed, decided to go and complain about our image review system at length on their social medias and on our site, which was one hell of an experience, even going so far as to call an editor Little Hitler. Zach, what was the first article either of you edited? For Armin, it wasn't Toyoramfimea.
No, it was
It was-
Anfracasucus actually.
It
Well,
was something else.
technically it was Paludirex and Chalavan, but I only added images to those. The first page I really worked on was Anfracasucus.
The oldest one I can remember is Zia Pelta. I rewrote the lead for that article. But I will have to take a little look
Yeah.
and see.
Unfortunately, we are also out of time for questions, so
yes.
I
I will
give the
continue
mic.
to answer them in the
Oh yeah,
chat. by the
if
way.
there are more questions, go into the questions forum and leave them there.